For over 3 hours, Vladimir Putin answered questions put by the Russian people. He's been doing it every year since 2001, but this time it was different.
Putin set the tradition as president, but this time he was here not as the Russian leader, but as the leader of the United Russia, the country's ruling party.
Although he's now prime minister, many questions referred to his experience as president, and some of them were surprisingly blunt. Not so long ago, a French media source alleged that while in conversation with Nicolas Sarkozy, Putin said he'd like to hang Saakashvili, and not by his neck.
This August saw horrifying events in South Ossetia. Is it true that you promised to hang Saakashvili by an unmentionable part of the body?
Why by just one? No, speaking seriously, we are aware of the tragic events in another part of the world, Iraq, which American forces entered under the false pretense of looking for weapons of mass destruction. They didn't find any weapons, but hanged the leader for a different reason, the wiping out of several Shiite villages. The leadership of today's Georgia undertook a massacre of civilians in South Ossetia, wiped 10 Ossetian villages off the face of the earth, attacked our peacekeepers and killed many of them. Iraq did not attack America, but Georgia's was an attack on Russian servicemen performing their duties, and someone has to be held responsible for this.
Putin hopes the relations between Russia and the U.S. will improve with the incoming administration in Washington.
We hear it's necessary to build relations with Russia, taking into consideration its interests. If this is not just words, and if they are reflected in the practical politics, our reaction will of course be adequate, and our American partners will feel it straight away.
Talking about Ukraine, he didn't rule out the possibility of another gas standoff.
If our partners don't live up to their commitments under previous agreements, or siphon off our resources from transit pipelines as they have in the past, we will have no other option but to reduce the supply.
But amidst the financial turmoil, rising unemployment and the apparent weakness of the ruble, there was one thing on people's mind, and some of them put it simply.
So how do we live now?
Some people asked questions, others made requests, like the little girl in Buryatia, Russia's eastern province.
Uncle Volodya, it's almost New Year. My sister and I live on our granny's salary in the village. There are no jobs here, and we want to have new dresses. Can you give us a dress like Cinderella? Can you be our New Year fairy?
Throughout the conference, the Prime Minister promised higher pensions and increased social security. His attitude was one trying to inspire confidence.
Everything we have planned in the social sphere, everything to do with raising social benefits and pensions, will be implemented.
Before he left, he was seized upon by the media. Under Putin, the influence of the Prime Minister's role has increased. Recently, there has been much speculation, especially in the foreign press, of an early return to the presidential post.
Russia is due to hold its next election in 2012. I think people should perform their duties at their workplaces properly. It's not worthwhile bothering now about what's going to happen in 2012. Let's wait and see.
He also promised he had no intention of resigning. Alexandra Kasharnitskaya, RT, Moscow.